Hey everybody, welcome to another off-the-shelf board game review. This week we're looking at a game called Vanquisher. Now Vanquisher is a game that is not available yet. This is a completely preview copy only, and I want to emphasize this point because I want to tell you that none of the components you're seeing right here, right now are finalized. All of these components are all from a print and play, basically thrown together to show just the gameplay mechanics for the game only. This is not a demonstration of what the game looks like. This is not what the final prototype will look like. Matter of fact, there's going to be extra things such as player boards. There's going to be completely redone cards with better artwork, better symbols on the cards, better components for everything. And matter of fact, there won't even be cubes for the game. I'll explain how those cubes work in just a second, but none of the components here are finalized, so don't judge the game by what you're seeing. Judge the game by the gameplay I'm about to show you. Now, Vanquisher, to describe the game in a very quick, easy manner would be to describe basically as somebody took 7 wonders, the idea of building a nation by getting your resources, and cross out with Blokus, which sounds very strange, but in this game it actually works. In the game of Vanquisher, players are going to be doing what they can to try to get the resources they need to get these buildings and add these buildings to their empire. Every time you add one of these buildings to your empire, you're going to allow yourself to start building onto this empire board. And this is where the main scoring and the main objective of the game is, because players are trying to get the most dominance on this board, because whoever gets the most dominance on this board is going to be the one who scores the most victory points in the game. There's a couple different ways to score victory points in the game. You can score victory points by having the most dominance on the board, which is how you get the majority of your victory points. You can also score victory points by building certain kind of buildings, the religious buildings such as the altar, the church, and other buildings like that. And as soon as you build them, they're going to give you extra victory points at the end of the game. But here's the really cool thing. After everybody's gotten all their victory points for having their special buildings, for having area dominance, and also for having gold left over at the end of the game, they're also going to get victory points for achievements such as having the most armies. And armies are used to block other players from building buildings in certain parts of the board. They're going to get a victory point for the achievement of having the most bribery cards. And bribery cards are going to allow you to start messing with the other players, gain resources, start attacking the other players, and just making the other player's life just a little more difficult. And I guarantee you these cards are not the kind of cards that are going to sit back and allow you to be very nice to all the other players. These are cards that are going to allow you to be very directly interacting with the other players. Finally, players also can get victory points for having the grand most amount of dominance over the entire board. That's how you're going to get your victory points. But like I said, the game is very, very unique and something I've never experienced before, because the idea of the game is that you're building the board much like a Blokus or a cathedral style game. Because as you're adding these buildings to your empire, you're constantly modifying the layout of the board, because every one of these building blueprints is going to tell you how to build these buildings out on the territory board. Now remember, the more buildings you have across this territory board, the more victory points you're going to have at the end of the game. So much like games like Blokus, where you're trying to block the other players and trying to prevent them from getting all their pieces on the board, this game's quite the same, where you're trying to build your buildings by getting your blueprints, which can allow you to move all across this territory build and build your empire across this board while you're getting the benefits of all these buildings. But the trick here is much like Blokus, not to keep referring to it, but it's an easy simile to kind of throw you back so you can figure out exactly what's going on here. There's only so much room on this board, and you have to build all your buildings at an angle touching on their corners. You can't build them next to each other, so eventually as the players start building up more and more of the board here, the buildings are going to start confronting with each other and start interacting with each other and start forcing players to start building around each other as they're trying to vie for complete control of all these territories. Now the game does come with the basic blueprints that are going to be available in every single game. Plus there's an advanced deck that's going to keep being shuffled out into the game, adding different variety of buildings into the game, giving you different powers, different abilities, and the ability to play more actions, gain more resources, and also get more of these bribery cards that are going to change up the gameplay for the game. Now, if you enjoyed this quick overview of the game, you can also check out my complete tutorial for the game of Vanquisher, where I'm going to show you exactly how to play the complete game of Vanquisher. You can also check my full gameplay video, where I'm going to show you exactly what the gameplay looks like when you actually play the game of Vanquisher. Also, you can check out my complete, I'm not going to call it a full review of the game, because I don't want to ever with my video channel review any game that is not finished. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about what I thought about the mechanics, what I thought about the changes that I've gotten through emails by talking to the company, so I know what's going to be coming for the game, and just giving my overall opinion of what I enjoyed the most about this game, especially the uniqueness of combining two very different gameplay mechanics in a way that actually really intrigued me and I really enjoyed. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the YouTube comments down below. You can also email me. You can email me at offtheshelfboardgamereviews. That's otsbgr@gmail.com. As always, thanks for your subscriptions and thank you for watching. And it's going to tell you how to put these cubes out onto the region, the game board, that's going to attach to your empire. And much like Blokus, you're going to build these buildings at an angle, never touching against your buildings, perfectly lining up. You're going to line them up in such a way that they're not quite touching. And I'll do this very quickly for you here. Hello, Master of the Interruptions. How are you doing, oh Master of the Interrupting the video? You have interrupted the video very well. Good job. Thank you very much for mastering the interruptions.